Herbert Chitepo, a distinguished lawyer and the founding chairman of the Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU, was assassinated on March 18, 1975, in Lusaka, Zambia, when a car bomb detonated outside his home. The explosion killed Chitepo, his bodyguard Silas Shimiso, and a neighbor's child, while injuring another bodyguard, Sadat Kufamidzuba. This meticulously executed attack sent shockwaves through the Zimbabwean liberation movement, dealing a severe blow to ZANU and its military wing, the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army, ZANLA. The death of Chitepo, a brilliant strategist and Zimbabwe's first black barrister, remains the most controversial and suspicious fatality of the Rhodesian Bush War, 1964 to 1979, due to its timing, political ramifications, and the murky web of suspected perpetrators. This episode visits the scene of the bombing in Zambia, the main reason for Chitepo's assassination, the sophisticated dirty tricks of the Rhodesian Central Intelligence Organization, CIO, the planners, the planning and execution of the assassination, and the role of African collaborators who worked with the CIO, drawing on historical accounts to unravel this complex and unresolved tragedy. Born in Watsamba, Mutasa district, in 1923, Chitepo rose from humble beginnings to become a towering figure in Zimbabwe's fight for independence. As a barrister, he defended African nationalists like Ndabaningi Sithole and Robert Mugabe against colonial repression, using his legal expertise to challenge Rhodesia's segregationist laws. By 1966, Chitepo had resigned as Tanganyika's director of public prosecutions to focus on ZANU's armed struggle from exile in Zambia. As chairman and head of the Dare Rikamurenga War Council, he coordinated ZANLA's guerrilla operations alongside military commander Josiah Tongagara, opening new fronts, notably in northeastern Zimbabwe with Frelimo's support in Mozambique. His uncompromising stance, rejecting negotiations with Ian Smith's regime until immediate majority rule was guaranteed, made him a prime target for those seeking to derail the liberation movement. The car bomb that killed Chitepo was planted in his Volkswagen Beetle, registration EY7077, the night before the explosion. The blast was so powerful it sent parts of the car onto the roof of his house and uprooted a nearby tree. The precision and sophistication of the attack pointed to a professional operation, raising immediate questions about who had the resources and motive to execute it. The timing was critical. ZANU was grappling with internal dissent following the Nhari Rebellion, 1974 to 1975. A mutiny within ZANLA, and faced external pressures from Zambia and other frontline states pushing for a negotiated settlement with Rhodesia, which Chitepo opposed. The assassination of Herbert Chitepo on March 18, 1975, stands as a pivotal moment in Zimbabwe's liberation struggle, with the Rhodesian Central Intelligence Organization, CIO, under the leadership of Ken Flower, emerging as the primary suspect. Chitepo's strategic brilliance as ZANU's chairman and the growing effectiveness of the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army, ZANLA, posed an existential threat to Ian Smith's white minority government in Rhodesia. The CIO's involvement, supported by declassified documents and historical accounts like those of Stuart Doran, reveals a calculated campaign of dirty tricks designed to destabilize ZANU, exacerbate its internal divisions, and cripple the broader liberation movement. This expanded analysis delves into the CIO's motives, capabilities, operational tactics, and the broader context of their covert war against African nationalists, highlighting how Chitepo's assassination fit into their ruthless strategy. Peter Stiff's book, See You in November, 1985, provides a detailed, though controversial, account of the CIO's role in Chitepo's assassination, based on alleged insider information. According to Stiff, a former British South Africa Police, BSAP, special branch member, the operation was orchestrated by a team led by Alan Taffy Brice of the Rhodesian Intelligence Corps, with Hugh Chuck Hind, a British SAS veteran on the CIO payroll, and Ian Sutherland, a European farmer in Zambia acting as an informant. The CIO had identified Chitepo as a prime target by 1969 due to his role in revamping ZANLA's military strategy. A bounty of $7,500 was allegedly offered for his elimination. Brice's team surveilled Chitepo's movements at the Liberation Center in Lusaka, noting his routine and identifying his blue VW Beetle as the target. Hind, born in 1940 in Glasgow, was a skilled explosives expert recruited for his SAS experience. Sutherland, based in Zambia, provided reconnaissance from his farm, which served as a CIO operational base. Their European identities allowed them to operate discreetly in Zambia. The CIO aimed to eliminate Chitepo to disrupt ZANLA, publicize the killing to expose ZANU's presence in Zambia, and strain relations between Kaunda and ZANU, potentially expelling ZANU from Zambia. On the night of March 17, 1975, the team planted a bomb in Chitepo's VW Beetle, designed to detonate when the wheels moved. The operation took 3 to 5 minutes and was executed with precision, resembling a practice run at Sutherland's farm. The explosion killed Chitepo instantly, achieving the CIO's goal of disrupting ZANU. The Rhodesians planted documents implicating ZANU members, further sowing confusion. Hind reportedly died in a car crash in 1977 during another mission in Zambia, possibly to cover the CIO's tracks. Ken Flower, in his memoir Serving Secretly, 1987, admitted to the CIO's involvement, claiming he flew to Lusaka to deflect blame from Tongagara, though some question his motives. Former CIO officers Henrik Ellert and Dennis Anderson, in A Brutal State of Affairs, 2020, corroborate Rhodesian responsibility, citing internal archives. While the CIO relied heavily on white operatives, African collaborators played a critical role in its operations, often under coercion or for personal gain. Herbert Chitepo was not just a symbolic figure. He was the intellectual and strategic linchpin of ZANU's external operations in Zambia. By 1975, ZANLA, under Chitepo's oversight and Josiah Tongagara's military command, had escalated guerrilla operations, particularly in northeastern Rhodesia, with support from Mozambique's Frelimo after its independence in 1974. This intensification directly challenged Rhodesia's economic and military stability, as ZANLA's attacks disrupted white-owned farms and infrastructure. Chitepo's refusal to negotiate with Smith's regime unless immediate majority rule was guaranteed made him a formidable adversary. The Rhodesian government, facing international sanctions and mounting guerrilla pressure, saw his elimination as a means to decapitate ZANU's leadership, sow chaos within its ranks, and delay the inevitable push for black majority rule. Declassified Rhodesian documents, cited by Doran in Kingdom, Power, Glory 2021 confirmed that the CIO identified Chitepo as a high-priority target as early as 1969, with a bounty of $7,500 offered for his death. The CIO, established in 1963 and led by Ken Flower, a former British intelligence officer with experience in Kenya's Mau Mau insurgency, was adept at covert operations. Flower's strategic vision transformed the CIO into a sophisticated agency capable of cross-border assassinations, psychological warfare, and infiltration. The CIO collaborated closely with the ZANLA Scouts, a counterinsurgency unit known for pseudo-operations, where turned African guerrillas posed as ZANLA or zipper fighters to gather intelligence or commit sabotage. In Chitepo's case, the CIO's expertise in explosives was critical. The car bomb that killed him, planted in his Volkswagen Beetle, required precision and technical know-how, hallmarks of CIO operations. Peter Stiff's CU in November 1985 details how a team led by Alan Taffy Brice, a Rhodesian intelligence corps explosives expert, executed the attack, with Hugh "Chuck" Hind, a British SAS veteran, handling the bomb's construction. This operation leveraged the CIO's network in Zambia, including European informants like Ian Sutherland, a farmer who provided reconnaissance. The CIO's strategy for Chitepo's assassination was multifaceted, aiming to achieve three objectives: eliminate a key leader, expose ZANU's vulnerabilities, and strain relations between ZANU and its Zambian hosts. The planning began months in advance, with the CIO exploiting ZANU's internal turmoil, particularly the Nhari Rebellion, 1974 to 1975. Which had exposed ethnic and ideological rifts. By targeting Chitepo, the CIO sought to amplify these divisions, hoping to trigger purges that would weaken ZANLA. The bomb's placement on March 17, 1975, was a covert operation executed under cover of darkness, taking just minutes, as described by Stiff. The CIO also planted disinformation, including forged documents implicating ZANU members, to shift blame and confuse investigators. Ken Flower later admitted in serving secretly 1987 to orchestrating efforts to deflect suspicion from Rhodesia, even traveling to Lusaka to influence Zambian authorities. Chitepo's assassination was part of a broader CIO campaign to undermine African nationalism. The agency's dirty tricks included poisoning water supplies in guerrilla camps, staging false flag attacks, and assassinating other leaders, such as ZAPU's Jason Moyo in 1977. The CIO's ability to operate in Zambia relied on a network of informants, including coerced Africans and sympathetic Europeans, which allowed them to penetrate exile communities. Henrik Ellert and Dennis Anderson's A Brutal State of Affairs, 2020, reveals how the CIO's infiltration tactics sowed mistrust, with some African collaborators, including former ZANLA fighters, providing critical intelligence. These operations not only targeted leaders but also aimed to fracture the liberation movement's unity, exploiting ZANU-ZAPU rivalries and regional tensions. While the CIO succeeded in eliminating Chitepo, the assassination backfired strategically. Instead of collapsing, ZANU rallied under Robert Mugabe, who consolidated power and intensified the war, leading to independence in 1980. The CIO's role, though initially obscured by Zambia's flawed 1976 inquiry blaming ZANU infighting, has been substantiated by subsequent revelations, including Flower's admissions and archival evidence. Chitepo's death remains a stark reminder of the Rhodesian regime's desperation and the lengths to which it went to preserve white minority rule, cementing its place as the most controversial and suspicious assassination of the liberation struggle. The Zambian inquiry's failure to pin blame on the CIO, coupled with the arrest of 1,300 ZANU fighters, including leaders like Rugar Gumbo, highlighted the operation's success in sowing discord. However, the CIO's miscalculation, underestimating ZANU's resilience, proved fatal to Rhodesia's war effort. The assassination remains a deeply emotive issue, with Zimbabwean narratives, such as those in the Herald, framing Chitepo as a selfless hero targeted by a desperate Rhodesian regime. Yet, the lack of a definitive account, compounded by conflicting claims from Rhodesian, Zambian, and ZANU sources, ensures that Chitepo's death remains Zimbabwe's most controversial and suspicious loss, a testament to the ruthless intelligence war that shaped the liberation struggle.